All right. 10 things a guide cannot go without here. All right. So I'm going to start from, with the rifle. Um, uh, I like to have a three-position safety. I guess I should go over who I am. My name is Sam. I'm an assistant guide. I work for Bushwhack here, Bushwhack Adventures. And for me, I need to have a three-position safety. And what that does is it gives you basically you can lock your action so your bolt doesn't fall out whenever you're walking. And this is a Savage, but Ruger M77s are great. The Model 70s have them. Things of that nature. So um, yeah, I like a 375 Ruger. A lot of guys, a lot of guys.
Show us how it locks.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
And display it, so yeah.
Yeah, this is you.
What are you set up for, Sam? Like, what do you hunt?
I guide brown bears, yeah, and brown bears and grizzlies, and that's what we're always prepared for with these big guns as a guide. You're prepared for a brown bear or a close encounter of some sort with the bears, whether it be a black bear or a brown bear. They can all do damage, and you got to protect you and the client to make sure that you're safe. We always walk. Like I said, we walk without one in the hole, but it's kind of one of those things that I like to have a locking action. So whenever I'm going through the brush, it doesn't open on me, and you lose your bolt. Crazier things have happened. I've seen clients drop their bolts out and then rack around on their pack, things of that nature. And then it's got the middle safety is where you can open it, and you're still on safe, the three position, but you can open the bolt and load one safely and not be able to, discharge around, and then you go all the way into fire where you can go hot and shoot your animal or.
Walk us through your scope. Why don't you have a 14 by 20 on there?
Oh, I got a low power scope. That way I can, whenever we're up close and personal, I can get a quicker acquisition of the bear. Or
what kind of power?
it's a Leupold. It's a 1.5 to 4, 1.5 to 4, yeah. It's pretty nice. What's that? I like Leupolds because you can drop them down a mountain and they still work great. I've actually done it. So. Unfortunately, but they're hard to knock off. They're pretty bulletproof. I like Leupolds. There's other great scopes around, but that's what I use. This is kind of the rig that I run. Like I said, I've had the Ruger M77s. They're good. They got a controlled round feed. That's a great rifle for a guide. It's kind of the electrical tape. So I don't have the electrical tape on the end because we shot a bear. But
it's
hot off the presses. Yeah.
Hot off the job.
We got electrical tape that we wrap the barrel with, so rainwater doesn't get in, or if you jam it in the dirt or something, it doesn't occlude your barrel. So
Will that affect the bullet's trajectory?
No, the pressure blows it off before the bullet gets there. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I wrap that thing up before I leave every time. So
awesome.
Yeah. Just real quick, I bring a Swiss Army knife with me. Some guys take a Leatherman, something of that nature. I like it because a lot of times just to protect our food, we have bear barrels. So I bring a Swiss Army knife. You got your blade and everything. It's got a screwdriver, so if you got to fix your Barney's pack or something like that, it clips right on the inside of your pocket. It's pretty nice. It's something that I bring with me as well. It's kind of a must-have for me. A lot of guys will use the Havalons, which I bring with me as well, but I always bring something I can open my bear barrels with or fix a pack, or it's kind of a nice thing to have while you're out there. So yeah, it's really nice. A lot of guys bring Leathermans. I don't, but I like the Swiss Army knife. Yeah, and then going into glass. You should have good glass, whenever you're in the mountains. I have the Swaro 10s. Depending on what you're going after, but these are the EL ranges. This is a great tool for maybe you spot a moose that's bedded down or a bear and he's 2,000 yards away or 1,500. You can range a hill in between you and kind of get a general idea of what how far it is in between you and that animal, because a lot of times if you don't range it, you'll get out there and you'll be 800, 900 yards, which is too far for a lot of people. So
take us through why you've got old school straps on there. What's that about? A lot of guys you see, the big thing nowadays are the big bino harnesses.
They're heavy. Yeah, I don't use those because I don't want to lose these, so these stay strapped on my chest all the time. So whether I'm doing a boat-based hunt, so I don't drop them over the edge, these are strapped on my chest at all times, you know. And how do I keep them dry? I just cover them up just like this. And swirls are great because whenever you're glassing, the rain just beads up on the glass, you know. And these have a wide angle too, so when you're looking through them, you can see a wide angle is really great. You can see a lot more country. It's great for whenever you're glassing, you know. My covers broke on this last time, so. But yeah, I like the swirl eel ranges. They're great for me. I really liked your 15 power SIGs as well. Those were awesome. I use a Vortex spotting scope. That's what I have for my spotter. It's the Razor, but that's what I use for judging our rams and
so
seeing
you're running a 10 by 42, which is kind of a low power bino for scanning.
Yeah.
You got a pretty skinny tripod set up on the spotter.
Yeah, I have the spotter here. It's I run a Siri. There. Oh, some mustard. Yeah. Just a light carbon fiber tripod that works pretty well for me, and then this Vortex spotter. It's worked well. A lot of guys love the higher end stuff. It's great, but this has worked for me for years. It's kind of one of those things. It's what I use. So it worked well on this last hunt. You can dial it down to 20 power, and you can do some picking apart of the elders, things of that nature, when you're looking for a brown bear, or crank it all the way up for whenever you're trying to judge see if a moose has 3 brow tines at a mile away, or looking at a full curl ram. So yeah, that's kind of my glass setup. I like that.
It's cool. It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
you're keeping it light. You're keeping it simple.
Something that I don't like about just me personally. I know a lot of dudes, a lot of guides run the Swarovski spotting scopes. I don't like the weight of them. They're heavy. These are just a smidge lighter. The quality probably isn't quite as good, but it's kind of good enough for me. I can't tell a huge difference between the two of them. So yeah, I really like that spotter. It's worked well for me.
Take us through the Scarpas.
Yeah, I use plastic boots.
These are awesome.
Yeah, they're like the Swiss Army knife of boots. Not a lot of people know what they are or use them. A lot of my clients are like, "What are you talking about? Plastic boots?"
Now, where would you need something like that?
Well, these are great because they're great if you're climbing mountains, and a pair of leather boots I found will get chewed up from the shale on these sheep and caribou hunts when you're climbing into the high country. I like these plastic boots because they're pretty bomb proof. They're plastic on the outside. They have a liner on the inside here that you tie up and put your foot into, and if you want to, you can run a Glacier Sock then on the outside. If you're crossing a river, then you don't have to take it off.
What's a Glacier Sock?
A Glacier Sock is it's basically I got them right here. It's something that you put on the inside of your boot to keep your feet from getting wet. They're a great tool for keeping your feet dry, because these aren't
those on the inside of your boots.
Yep, and you can go all the way up to basically like having a hip waiter. You can go all the way up to the top of your hip with these. So essentially you have hip waders and regular, your regular boots all in one. You can go all the way up from the low country where you're hunting moose and walking through a swamp to chasing a caribou or a sheep up in the high country. They really that's kind of my setup and how I was taught to run it. And I take them with me because sometimes you don't know what you're getting into with these hunts. You don't know what country you're going to be flying into. Maybe you plan on going to one spot, but you end up going to another, and it's different terrain. So, like I said, these are the Swiss Army knife of boots. They really work great for me. It's what I run. A lot of people run leather boots, but I'll show you guys these Glacier Socks. But they're pretty good. They last me a couple seasons. They keep you dry whenever I put the boots on, then I just twist them up and roll them up, and then put my gaiters right over top of those. So, yeah, those work well.
No stopping across the creek or anything. You're just going.
Just going. Yep. then whenever you see that that moose or that bear and he's on the move or whatever it may be, you're ready to go, you know. And you can cross stuff, like I said, just pull them up, and it's about mid thigh or hip deep, so it's pretty good.
Awesome. What else you got?
Yeah. Moving on, I like to, what's that? Yeah, I like to use. Yeah, we can go with the sleeping pad. That's fine.
That pack is awesome. We'll have to get it close to that.
Yeah, it's old. It's kind of, it's been around.
Clear that off and then just set the pack on there once we get to it.
Yeah, it's I use a Thermarest sleeping pad. This is something that you want to be well rested when you're hunting. If you're not sleeping well, you got a rock that your back's digging into, something of that nature. You can occasionally find the spot that's flat in Alaska, but it's pretty rare. I like to use this sleeping pad, especially when I'm in. If you're on a cot, you can lay it out on the cot, and it kind of just makes life easier. If you're hunting in a bomb shelter or something of that nature, or if you're in a pup tent hunting, you know, hunting in the high country, you're going to be sleeping comfortable, be well rested in the morning. That way you can go after your game. So that's a sleeping bag. I use a Kafaru down sleeping bag. It's synthetic down. Real down gets wet and mats up and doesn't keep you warm at night. So I like the synthetic down for me personally.
Even over the goose down's lightweight quality, you're still taking the synthetic.
I still take the synthetic because you're going to get wet out there. It's the inevitable as a guide, you know.
Yeah.
You're going to get wet. You're going to have days where things don't go as planned, and maybe something happens, your tent leaks, maybe you know, maybe you're just soaked to the bone and you climb into your tent and get it a little bit damp. And that's kind of one of those things. I like this synthetic down because it doesn't it'll still keep you warm if you get wet. Forgive the duct tape. But it's kind of one of those things. I like the Kafaru sleeping bags. Not cheap, but they work, you know. Keeps me warm at night. It's kind of one of those things that I've really fallen in love with as far as a sleeping bag. So this is.
Show the duct tape.
Oh yeah.
Been through a couple seasons.
Yeah, it might have. We might have been cooking some coffee or something in the tent and burn it at some point in time. So I threw some duct tape on there. So, you know, your stuff gets used pretty hard whenever you're a guide. As far as like clothing goes, I really love wool. I got some like your arms on that Asbel wool there. I love that stuff. It's really great. Kind of stuff this in here.
Inside the dry bag.
Inside the dry bag.
Is all your
Every
stuff
day.
going in dry bags, or?
Everything's in a dry bag, yeah. So if you get rain, something happens, your tent, maybe a bear eats your tent, you know, he's not going to shred your sleeping bag. Usually, I mean, he might shred it in the dry sack, but you got a chance, you know. It's I've had that happen where I get in and my tent's shredded and I still have a sleeping bag, you know.
So every morning you're waking up and you're packing it back up.
I pack it back down just like this. That way, if something happens, I got my sleeping bag at night whenever.
Because it's really like a matter of survival.
Yeah, it'll
Making it
keep you
through the
warm.
night where if you lose your tent and your sleeping bag, you're going to be.
Yep, you're going to be warm. You're going to survive. You're not going to get hypothermic while you're out there. And yeah, Tim, can you grab me that Asbel? I like wool gear, wool base layers, wool underwear, all the wool things. This is Asbel wool. It's just kind of whatever you like, but I like to run some wool.
Does it get wet?
It gets wet. You can just shake it off. Yeah. If it gets wet, you know, it dries a lot easier than cotton. Cotton does not dry easier. Something like this. I mean, I'm wearing cotton right now because I'm in the lodge now, but it's something that it gets wet and does not dry out as easily, you know. So wool is great for that. It doesn't tend to smell as bad either, you know. Guide stinks sometimes, you know. We're out there and we're not. Maybe we don't come in for every hunt and get to shower. So wool kind of keeps that down. It's good stuff. I like the Asbel wool. It really has treated me well. And wool base layers, you know, will keep you dry, keep you warm. It's good,
Awesome.
Good stuff. I run a Barney's pack. You guys can see this thing. It's old, but I run a Barney's pack frame here. It as a guide, I've broken the straps on other brands. Not to say any names, but hauling goats out and things of that nature. These things are bomb-proof. They're a little heavier, but I can fit a moose quarter in it. I can carry all my gear. It's something that they're comfortable to wear for a long day. They got good straps. And if you need something replaced, you can just replace the parts on them. Whether it's just a peg or even the whole bag itself.
So all guides in Alaska, everywhere, almost all of them that I've met, run a Barney's back.
Yeah, these things
have
been.
What about it is like you touched on a few things, but why is every single guide running a Barney's back?
Well, one of the big things is, and this doesn't seem for a lot of people, is having this peg here for me. I can strap my rifle on this peg and it's ready to go. Some guys like to carry pistols. I do not. I just take my rifle and I strap it on this peg and it's ready to rip whenever I need to, whether it be on my own personal hunt and I run into a caribou, or if there's a bear that's too close for comfort. I like that. That's one of the main attributes of these Barney's packs. I hang my rifle right on that strap. It's got a huge bag. Like I said, you can fit all your stuff for 10 days, whether you're on a backpack hunt, you got all your food for you and your client and maybe a packer. You can fit all that stuff in there, or a moose quarter,
And you're putting the moose quarter in the bag.
In the bag, yep.
We put a bear hide in that bag.
In that bag, yeah.
Yesterday
there was a very large bear in this bag, yeah. And you can fit them in there, these are just a really great pack that you can use for a lot of years, and it's
how old is that backpack?
That's 10 years old or more.
So you've been running it full seasons, sheep, bear, moose.
Yep, and it's done me well. Yeah, Barney. Yeah, these pack frames have been around for a long time. They started with like the freighter frames and things of that nature, and this is the Barney's pinnacle. I really love this pack. It's been great to me. It's on my back for every hunt that we do. So, yeah, I really love it. You can get everything organized in it. It's got a big enough pouch for your spotter. If you put a spotter in there, you can fit the spotter and your tripod in there. It's really great. So I love this thing. As far as rain gear goes, how many items is that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Keep it going.
Yeah. I use Sitka rain gear. I always bring 2 raincoats with me. I bring a Helly Hansen and Sitka in case a client or a packer or somebody gets, maybe their coat starts leaking or whatever it may be. I like Sitka rain gear. Works good for me. It's pricey. They're proud of it, but it works, I've, with the Glacier Socks and those plastic boots, walked down rivers for hours on end and not been wet,
So on the rain gear, are you leaning more towards durability or lightness?
It's both here. This stuff's pretty light. This is
you're meeting in the middle of that.
Yeah, it's got knee pads too, so this is really nice because this is where they always wear, and you get small holes. You're in the rocks and maybe you're glassing for something, and you put a hole in it, and then the next day it's raining. You notice your knees are wet. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. So I like this Sitka rain gear because it keeps me dry. It is light. I take it with me on whether I'm moose hunting, brown bear hunting, or sheep hunting. This is what comes with me, and it keeps me dry and keeps me warm. I use it whenever just to cut the wind, things of that nature. So, yeah, I guess we'll show my tent. I'm not going to completely unwrap the tent, but I use a Hillberg tent. Don't mind the drawings on it. That's from my other boss's kids. They drew on. I use a Hillberg tent. It's a Nalo 3. It's a great tent. It has been in some high winds. We were blowing 40 here just the other day, and it was one of those things that it really held up well. It does. It never really leaks for me. Same thing. They're pricey, but it sinks if a bear eats one. But they're good tents. I really love them. Clients like sleeping in them. I like sleeping in them. It's something that really has worked well for me. There's other good tents too. Stone Glaciers are great. This is just what I use.
This is like a lightweight model, small.
Yeah, I think these are 4 pounds.
Yeah.
4 pounds, something like that. It's a 2-manner, so it's got enough room for me and another guy if you need to. If you're if you're doing a backpack hunt, you can fit 2 people in it comfortably, you know, with sleeping pads and stuff. I like the bigger vestibule on the Nalos. It's pretty nice. So it's just kind of one of those things that this is an old tent too. I've used it for a long time. They work well. They last a long time. They keep you dry, keep your gear dry, and it's a good shelter for sure. So yeah. How many items is that? Is that 9 or 10? Oh, the mustard. You want me to go over the mustard?
Yeah.
Got to have mustard in camp. I don't know. Yeah.
What do you?
I always bring mayonnaise, but we didn't have it this last time. So
mustard. You got to keep a little flavor.
Yeah.
A little zest.
Yeah, you got to put something on your something on there. Oh yeah, man.
Little Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah. Yeah. Little mustard on a biscuit.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And just one extra thing is an inReach. Anybody that goes out, just to make sure you have you can use inReach, whatever it may be, but some type of communication device that you can get back early if you need to, if you kill your target species or something of that nature. You can text your pilots. Always make sure before the hunt that you get your information of your pilots and whoever's in charge. That way you can let them know, you know, you're ready to go, and then you can communicate with your family on these. I text my wife whenever I'm out there, see how the kids are doing, that type of stuff. So these have worked well.
With the outside world.
Yep, it's good to. And then if an emergency happens, you can pop the SOS button. I had to do it one time in Kodiak for a kid that was hypothermic. It happens. Things like that, and then you can really help people out and then get back to hunting. So yeah, it's good stuff. Keeps you safe. So yeah, that's kind of my few things that I run and that have worked for me. None of it's really pretty. It's all stuff that's been used for a lot of years, but
it's awesome.
Things that I like.
Durability, lightness.
Yep, I love it.